Sarah sighed softly. The chocolates you gave me on my birthday were also beautifully colored. She muttered softly, causing my heart to skip a beat. Those were the chocolates that led to our separation. Bright chocolates inspired by Sarah. Sarah looked down and pursed her lips. Her lips opened slightly, about that time. As soon as she began to speak. My name is Kyle. I'm a 30-year-old confectioner. Phew, it's done. Today, I'm working at a wedding reception venue. Oh, it turned out beautifully. A calm, low voice said from behind. I turned to see a dignified woman standing there. The bride's mother. She is also the master at the coffee workshop where I deliver my chocolates. A renowned master in our local area. Being addressed by Miss Sage, I naturally straightened up. I made it with all my heart. What do you think? As I asked, Miss Sage beamed with joy. I'm so glad I left it up to your young sensibility. Now, we have a seat for you at the reception, so go change and enjoy yourself. I headed to the dressing room. Today is the wedding of Miss Sage's daughter. After working at the reception venue, I'm also attending the wedding reception. As a business associate, she invited me. Honestly, it's a very large reception, and I'm nervous. I wonder if I'm out of place here. While feeling anxious, I completed the registration and received the seating chart. But it was hard to find my name on it. Going through the seats on the bride's side, I finally found my name at a table mostly filled with women. It seemed like most people at the table are the bride's friends. Then, I saw a surprising name next to mine. Sarah Thompson. Could it be the same person? It was the name of a woman I dated in high school, right next to mine. My heart ached slightly. However, why am I assigned to the friends table? As I entered the venue, I realized. The business-related seats were filled with dignified, older individuals. I wouldn't have enjoyed being thrown into that table. It must have been Ms. Sage's consideration. I silently thanked her. As I looked around the vast reception hall and found my seat, my heart leaped. The woman listed next to me. She was dressed in a beautiful blue gown. I slowly walked forward and pulled out my chair. The woman in the dress turned quickly to look at me. Is that really you, Kyle? Long time no see. She must have been surprised to see my name as well. It's been a while. How have you been? Well, Sarah, looking slightly down with an awkward gaze, was very beautiful. Even in high school, without makeup, she was very cute and had a wonderful smile. It reminded me of our high school days. I was just entering high school, nervous. The first to speak to me with a lively smile, saying, "What's your name?" I'm Sarah. Call me Sarah, was her. Among girls our age, she was outstandingly cute, and I fell for her in no time. Our seats were close, so we naturally became friends, joined the same extracurricular activities and committees, and spent more and more time together. Eventually, we started dating. When I awkwardly asked her out, she confirmed sharply, "What? Say it clearly. We're dating, right?" We started dating towards the end of our first year and continued smoothly, but our paths diverged. I was set to take over my family's confectionery shop after graduating from high school, while she was heading to college. We ended up in different classes, and after she stopped going to extracurricular activities, she increased her study time. The time we couldn't meet increased, which frustrated me, who was relatively free. Still wanting to cheer her up, I made her handmade sweets for her birthday. I practiced daily under my father's guidance and made bright yellow, festive chocolates that reflected her image. I thought she would be delighted with the chocolates I handed her, but she showed a slight disappointment. Then, she murmured, "Oh, it's not a cake." Indeed, cakes are standard of birthday. I was well aware that her favorite was strawberry shortcake. But I believed the chocolates I made were better. She quickly tried to cover, saying, "Oh, sorry. Is this handmade by you, Kyle?" Amazing. It's beautiful, but her muttered words, "It's not a cake," deeply hurt me. After that, we gradually grew apart. Eventually, she broke up with me, saying, "I have to focus on my studies from now on." Sitting at my seat in the reception hall, those high school days flashed through my mind. I glanced at her next to me. From the lively high school girl, she had matured into a calm and composed woman. The light blue dress with subtle pink flowers scattered on it suited her very well. Her light makeup, based on pink tones, complemented her distinct features beautifully. She seemed softer, got changed from bright like yellow sunflower in high school days, which she was still stunning. She had been talking to the woman next to her, but when the woman left, she turned back to me. "I'm a friend of the bride from college, but how do you know her, Kyle?" When asked, I replied, through work. I know the bride's mom a little. Her eyes widened in surprise. "Wow. You're working with her? Amazing, that's Miss Sage, right?" I was shocked when I heard she was my friend's mom. Indeed, Miss Sage is well known. Eh? How did you meet? Through confections? I nodded. I met Miss Sage on a drizzly spring day. As a confectioner, and although my parents continued working, they had handed the business management over to me. So I was doing sales as a business owner too. Especially workshops, once they use our confections, they tend to keep ordering, which is great for our shop. I had been delivering regularly to a small classroom, but the orders weren't large enough to stabilize the business. I was constantly exploring ways to increase sales. Then one day, a woman came into the shop. "May I take shelter from the rain a bit?" It started pouring all of a sudden. As she entered, I was genuinely surprised. The woman was Miss Sage, who runs the largest workshop in the area. I had been struggling with daily shop management, always attending events like workshops whenever I saw one. What kind of atmosphere the event had, what kinds of confections were served. I once attended a workshop and the confections presented there were spectacular. Most of the local events are usually organized by Miss Sage. I used to dream about working with her someday. And now, she is right in front of me. She was taking shelter from the rain and intently looking at the sweets I made. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was going to burst. Excited, I started talking to her. She seemed a bit surprised that I know her, but when I mentioned that I usually attended the events, she praised me for being diligent. Encouraged by her words, I timidly spoke of my dream. Someday, at the biggest local event. I dream of seeing my confections on display. She looked slightly troubled. "I'm sorry. For important events, we usually use products from a well-established confectionery that we have a long relationship with." Her blunt response made me feel embarrassed and deflated, like a balloon losing air. However, she then added, "But I can tell they are very carefully made, your sweets. If they taste good, I might use them occasionally for smaller events. Could I try your confections?" Her kind words lifted my spirits to the sky. I shared these memories with Sarah. Getting feedback on my sweets from Ms. Sage really helps me learn. Not having any negatives would be ideal. But I'm actually happy when she points out things that could be improved. As I rambled on, she chuckled. "You're really working hard, aren't you?" Her comments suddenly made me feel shy. I was giddy like a child. It was the rain that connected you to her. I also started noticing you when we shared an umbrella on the way home. I had forgotten mine. That's right. My umbrella was an old one from my father, so it was large, and even with both of us under it, we weren't too close. But I, who was already infatuated with her, couldn't stop my heart from racing during our shared umbrella moment. As we got a bit quieter, the host's voice echoed. "It seems the bride and groom are about to enter." Sarah and I paused our conversation and focused on the entrance of the venue. The doors opened, and they entered. The bride's dress was mainly white but with some adjustments. Her softly set hair sparkled with accessories. The groom's tuxedo was also original. Sarah and I expressed our admiration and sent a generous round of applause to bless the newlyweds. The reception proceeded smoothly, and the bride and groom left the venue to change outfits. Since the bride's friend's table was all women, I felt a bit out of place and nibbled on the food and drink in front of me. Then, Miss Sage appeared with a drink. She was going around to each table, serving drinks. It must be hard with such a large number of guests. I greeted her lightly. "Once again, congratulations on today." Then, she poured wine into my glass and said, "The classroom is doing well thanks to you. Please enjoy yourself hereafter." She said this with a smile. Joy warmed my face. She greeted each person at the table and then moved on to other tables. As I relaxed,